Imagine having everything you ever wanted: the house, the cars, the bank account that never runs out. Now imagine sitting alone in that house at 2 a.m., phone in your hand, scrolling through hundreds of contacts, and realizing there is not one single person you can call. Not one person who wants nothing from you. No parent, no childhood friend, no partner who loved you before any of this existed. Just names, just numbers. Just people who showed up after the money did. That is not a sad story about a poor person. That is the secret life of almost every rich person on this planet. And nobody is talking about it. You have seen the yachts. You have seen the private jets. You have seen the watches that cost more than most people's houses. But you have never seen what happens after the cameras turn off. Because the moment the doors close, something strange happens to almost every wealthy person alive. They go quiet. They go still. And some of them, the ones you would never expect, start to feel something they never thought money could cause. Fear. Not fear of losing money. Fear of people. Fear of being used. Fear of being loved for the wrong reasons. Stay with this for the next few minutes, because by the end you are going to understand something about human beings that most people never figure out in their entire lives. And it might change the way you chase success forever. Think about your own life for a second. Think about the people around you right now. Your friends, your family, the people you talk to every day. Most of them talk to you because they like you. Because being around you feels good. Simple, right? Now imagine you could never be sure of that again. Imagine every single person who smiles at you carries a tiny question mark. Every person who says, "Let's hang out." Every person who says, "I love you." All of it, quietly questioned in your head. Do they mean it? Or do they want something from me? That question mark is exhausting. It is the kind of thing that keeps people awake at night. And here is the part that hits different. The more money a person has, the bigger that question mark grows. It does not shrink. It grows. Because suddenly everyone around them has a reason to want to be close to them that has nothing to do with who they actually are. You have probably felt a tiny version of this yourself. Maybe someone was only nice to you because they wanted a favor. Maybe you found out a friend was talking behind your back the second they got what they needed. That sting you felt, that confusion, that small crack in your trust, it does not just disappear. It lingers. It changes how you see the next person who smiles at you. Now multiply that feeling by 1,000. Make it permanent. Make it happen every single day with every single new person you meet. And you start to understand what it feels like to be one of the wealthiest people in the world. So here's the real question. If money can buy almost anything, why can't it buy the one thing every human being actually needs to feel okay? Let's go deeper, because this gets darker before it gets better. There was a famous case of a lottery winner. He won an enormous jackpot. More money than his entire family had earned across generations combined. For the first few months, it felt like a fairy tale. Then the calls started. Old classmates he had not spoken to in 15 years. Distant cousins he barely remembered. People from his old neighborhood who suddenly just wanted to catch up. Every single conversation ended the same way. A loan. An investment idea. A small favor. Within 2 years, he had cut off almost every person from his old life. Not because he became cold or arrogant, but because he could not survive the constant feeling of being hunted. Now picture that same pattern, but at a level 100 times bigger. Billion-dollar founders, global superstars, professional athletes signing contracts worth more than entire towns. Every single one of them eventually hits the same wall. They stop being able to tell the difference between someone who loves them and someone who loves their bank account. Think about a young athlete who grew up with almost nothing. 1 year later, he signs a massive contract. Overnight, his phone explodes with messages. People he has not spoken to in years suddenly call him brother. People he never met start commenting family under every photo he posts. At first, it feels amazing. It feels like the whole world finally sees him. He shows the messages to his mom. He tells her, "Look how many people love me now." But slowly, something shifts. he notices a pattern. Every "Hey man, how you been?" ends with a request, a ticket, a loan, an introduction to someone important. He starts to dread his own phone. The thing that used to connect him to people becomes the thing that reminds him how alone he actually is. And it is not just athletes. Think about actors who go from being broke and unknown to suddenly being on every billboard in the city. Directors who barely spoke to them a year ago now text them, "Hey, we should work together the second a project hits big." Old acquaintances suddenly remember birthdays they never remembered before. Even family gatherings start to feel different. Conversations quietly turn toward business ideas, investment opportunities. Just a quick favor. The actor starts noticing something painful. People do not ask, "How are you feeling?" anymore. They ask, "Can you help me with this?" And after enough of those conversations, a strange kind of grief sets in. Grief for the version of their life where people wanted nothing but their company. This is the part almost nobody talks about publicly, because admitting it sounds ungrateful. Imagine going on camera and saying, "People only want me for my money," when you are standing in a mansion with a Ferrari in the driveway. The public reaction would be brutal. "Must be nice. Cry me a river. I would trade places with you in a heartbeat." So instead of talking about it, most wealthy people just go quiet. They smile for the cameras, they post the highlight reel, and they carry the loneliness privately, behind closed doors, where nobody can judge them for feeling something that looks so unrelatable from the outside. But here is what almost nobody realizes. This feeling is not actually about money at all. It is about something much more basic. It is about the human brain's need to know, with certainty, whether it is safe to trust someone. That need does not disappear when you get rich. If anything, it gets louder, because the stakes of trusting the wrong person get so much higher. And here is the twist that almost nobody expects. It is not the money itself that breaks people. It is the isolation that comes with it. Silence is comfortable for a while. Then it becomes a cage. Some of the most successful human beings alive today spend their nights surrounded by staff, assistants, security, and managers, and not a single person they can be fully honest with. So how do the ones who survive this actually do it? How do certain billionaires, top-level athletes, and global celebrities avoid becoming bitter, paranoid, or completely alone? Because some of them do avoid it. And the answer is surprisingly simple, even though almost nobody applies it early enough. The people who protect themselves from this trap do three specific things, and they start doing them from the very beginning, often before they even become wealthy. None of these three things require money. None of them require fame. Anyone watching this right now can start applying all three today, no matter how much or how little they have. First, they build their circle before the money arrives, not after. The friends who knew you when you had nothing are the only people who can prove something important. That they were never after your wallet. This is why you will notice that many successful people still keep one or two friends from childhood close. No matter how far they climb, those relationships are proof. Proof that at least one part of their life is real. Think of it like this. Imagine you meet someone new at the peak of your success. There is no way, no matter how much you talk, no matter how honest they seem, to fully rule out the possibility that they are drawn to the lifestyle. But someone who has known you for 10, 15, 20 years, who liked you back when you had a broken phone and no car, that person has already been tested by time. Time is the only lie detector that money cannot fool. This is exactly why so many successful people say the same thing when asked about their inner circle. I still talk to the same 3 or 4 people I grew up with. It is not sentimentality. It is strategy, whether they realize it consciously or not. Second, they learn to separate their identity from their achievements. This one is huge. And it is something you can start doing right now, at any age. With any amount of money, the people who fall apart the hardest are the ones who believe, "I am my success." The moment their business dips, or their fame fades, or their looks change, their entire sense of self collapses with it. They feel like they are disappearing, like the version of them that people actually liked was never real to begin with. But the ones who stay grounded understand something different. Success is something you do. It is not something you are. You can see this play out over and over again. Athletes who retire and spiral into depression within a year, Not because they lost money, but because they lost the identity that made them feel like somebody. Entrepreneurs who sell their company for millions and feel emptier than ever the day after, because the company was never just a business to them, it was their entire sense of self-worth. On the other hand, you see people who go through massive failures, lose companies, lose fame, lose fortunes, and bounce back stronger, because their identity was never tied to any of it in the first place. They knew who they were before the success, so they still knew who they were after it disappeared. Third, and this is the part that changes everything, they get brutally honest with themselves about what they actually want. Not what looks impressive, not what gets applause, what they actually want deep down. Because chasing money without knowing your own why is like running as fast as you can with no idea where the finish line is. You will run yourself into the ground and still feel empty when you get there. This is the trap that catches almost everyone at some point. You start chasing money because you think it will fix something. Loneliness, insecurity, the feeling of not being enough. But money was never built to fix those things. It was built to buy things, to create options, to remove certain kinds of stress. It was never designed to fill an emotional hole. So people who chase wealth to feel loved often end up more unloved than before, surrounded by more people, yet somehow feeling more invisible than ever. And here is the twist nobody sees coming. The people who seem to have it all and still feel happy are not the ones with the most money. They are not the ones with the biggest houses. They are not the ones with the most followers online. They are the ones with the fewest people they have to question. Let that sink in for a second. Not the most friends. The fewest people they have to wonder about. Quality completely replaces quantity at a certain level of success. And almost nobody warns you about that until you experience it yourself. This is why you will hear billionaires say things that sound almost insane to someone still dreaming of that life. Things like, "I would trade some of this money for peace of mind." People roll their eyes when they hear that.
Must be nice to have that problem, they say. But it is not fake humility. It is a real lived experience. The realization that trust, once it becomes rare, becomes more valuable than any currency on earth. Think about how many relationships in your own life run on simple, quiet trust. You wake up and you do not even think about it. It just exists in the background of your day. You do not question your best friend's motives every time they text you. You do not wonder if your mom loves you because of what you can give her. That kind of certainty is something most people take completely for granted. It feels normal. It feels boring even. But for someone at the very top, that ordinary certainty becomes the rarest resource on earth. That is why so many wealthy people build walls nobody sees. Gates around the house. Assistants who screen every phone call. Contracts before friendships even begin. From the outside, it looks cold. It looks paranoid, even ridiculous. But from the inside, it is survival. It is the only way to protect the tiny handful of real connections they have left. Some of them go even further. They test people without telling them. They watch how someone reacts when there is nothing to gain. They notice who remembers their birthday without being reminded by an assistant. They notice who asks about their day instead of their next deal. It sounds exhausting, and it is. But when trust has been broken enough times, the brain starts running these tests automatically, whether the person wants it to or not. That is not arrogance. That is a nervous system trying to protect itself from getting hurt again. Psychologists actually have a name for this pattern. They call it hypervigilant trust monitoring. And it shows up in people who have been betrayed or exploited repeatedly, whether that betrayal came from money, fame, relationships, or trauma of any kind. The brain learns a simple lesson. If getting close to people led to pain before, it will scan every new person for the same warning signs over and over, long after the danger has technically passed. Wealthy people are not the only ones who experience this, but wealth accelerates it because it multiplies the number of people with a financial incentive to get close. So here is the moment that matters most right now for you. You do not need $10 million to learn this lesson. You can start today. Look at the people around you. Not the ones who show up when things are good, the ones who show up when things are hard. When you have nothing to offer, when there is no reason to stick around except that they actually care. Protect those people. Invest in those people. Because the version of success that looks perfect from the outside can quietly become one of the loneliest places a human being can live. And the only insurance against that loneliness is the relationships you build before you ever need them. Money can buy comfort. It can buy freedom. It can buy incredible experiences. It can buy silence, safety, and status. But it cannot buy certainty about another person's heart. No amount of money has ever done that for anyone at any level of wealth in history. That has to be earned slowly, tested by time, and protected carefully, whether you have $1 or 1 billion. So next time you look at someone with everything, the mansion, the car, the fame, do not just ask, how do I get what they have? Ask a better question. Ask, who do they trust and how did they build that? Ask what it actually costs to protect that kind of trust once you have it. Because that quiet circle of real people, the ones asking nothing in return, might be the actual treasure hiding behind all that shine. And that is something worth chasing far more than any number in a bank account. If this hit you differently, you already understand something most people spend their whole lives chasing money without ever learning. Hold on to the people who were there before the success. They are the ones who will still be there after. Success will always look loud from the outside. The cars, the followers, the applause, all of it is designed to be seen. But the thing that actually keeps a person steady is quiet. It does not trend. It does not get likes. It is just a small group of people who would still pick up the phone at 2 a.m. for no reason at all. If you have even one person like that in your life right now, you are already richer than most people who look successful on a screen. Do not wait until you have something to lose before you learn to value what you already have. And if you are watching this at 18, 20, 25 years old, dreaming about the day you finally make it, here is the one thing worth remembering more than anything else in this entire video. The version of success worth chasing is not the one where you have the most people around you. It is the one where you never have to wonder about the people who are already there. Build that now, protect it now, because by the time you actually have something worth protecting, it will be too late to start building it from scratch. Every single person who has ever made it to the top will tell you the same quiet truth if you catch them in an honest moment. The money changes fast. The fame changes fast. But the people who were loyal before any of it existed, those relationships are the one thing that never stops paying you back. Would you subscribe? Because if the answer is yes, don't just think it. Do it. Subscribe.